In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use the bulk attribute tool to modify attributes of multiple materials at the same time in Flair for Maya, speeding up the shading workflow and art direction throughout populated scenes. I'm Henriette from Artineering, and we develop artist-driven tools for stylized rendering. Let's bulk things up. In the previous tutorial, we learned different ways of working with the Matte Shelf button to interact with materials. We also introduced the Flair shader material anatomy with its settings and attributes, covered how settings work, and showed what the painterly and normal shading attributes do. Flair shader materials are quite powerful, but changing each individual attribute per material can quickly become tedious. To facilitate this process and make the lives of shading artists easier, we developed the bulk attribute tool. The bulk attribute tool can be opened by clicking on the bulk button within the Flair shelf. Once opened, if you select different objects, you will notice that the tool automatically refreshes to reflect the assigned material's attribute editor. However, changing an attribute in this tool will set it on all materials assigned to the selected objects. This means that we can select multiple objects and quickly enable a setting within their materials or modify different attributes in bulk. This simplifies working with material-heavy looks, as shading artists can quickly change as many materials as they select in the scene. If you find this tool useful, give us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to our channel with the bell icon to be notified about future tutorials like this. Back to bulking material attributes. In case you're wondering what values are shown in the tool for each attribute, they will be the ones from the last object that you have selected, but setting a new value will replace it in all materials. By default, the attributes of materials will be automatically shown within the bulk attribute tool. If you don't want this behavior, you can uncheck Auto Materials. This will show the attributes of whatever is selected, in this case, the transform node. This makes the bulk attribute tool work with arbitrary nodes, but keep in mind that support for other nodes apart from the Flair shader material will be somewhat limited. You can bring back the material attributes by selecting the materials assigned to the selection with the Matte Shelf button, as Auto Materials would have done. We use the bulk attribute tool mainly to change materials, so let's leave Auto Materials checked and concentrate on refreshing the attributes. As you might have noticed, the available attributes are automatically refreshed depending on what you select. This is the default behavior, as auto refresh is checked. If we uncheck this option, the current state will be kept, so you can select and work with other nodes without the tool refreshing. This way, the tool will keep working on the objects that were selected when it was last refreshed, so it won't necessarily change the current selection. This is useful as you can define on which objects the tool will work until it is refreshed again with a new selection by pressing on the refresh button. Some attributes within the bulk attribute tool will have additional functionalities. For example, texture attributes will automatically show the path of the texture or node assigned to it. It also contains a reload button to quickly reload any texture changes that have been made. Finally, scrolling on spin fields or combo boxes will modify their values, so make sure to scroll over the attribute names instead to avoid changing attributes inadvertently. And this covers the bulk attribute tool. We learned how to change the attributes of multiple materials at the same time, to control what attributes are shown with Auto Materials, and control whose attributes they are by learning how the tool refreshes. In simple words, the bulk attribute tool is an extension of the attribute editor for modifying attributes of multiple objects at the same time. Everything we have covered can be found in written form in the documentation linked in the description below. With the Flair shader material and its workflow tools covered, it is time for us to learn how to control different effects procedurally using the NoiseFX tool. We're finally reaching the low levels of control within the art direction tools, where we get to be very specific about where we want the Flair to happen. If you love what we're doing, make sure to purchase a commercial license or become our patron to use Flair without resolution limitations and have your name appear in this beautiful list of credits. Thanks for watching, and let's make some noise in the next one.